deal with this word. You draw the red circle with a slash across it. Look at all the harm this thing has caused in the world. Look at all the harm. The Holocaust, the lynchings, you name it. We've got to get it out of our vocabulary and deal with it. Okay. Now, I agree with you 100%. It's a bad thing. It doesn't do anybody any good. Okay. Now, we've seen what makes us alike. Now what makes us different? Ethnicity? What's ethnicity?
The region of the world where you came from. The region of the world where you came from.
That's nationality. Well, it could be both. What's the difference between Mexican and Hispanic?
That a Hispanic,
Mexican is a...
If Hispanic speaks Spanish, then a Mexican is born in the region.
Okay, that's nationality, right? I'm an American. You guys are all American, right? That's our nationality. But our ethnic group, I'm an Anglo. God help me.
Not all Mexicans speak Spanish, though, so they're not all Hispanic.
No, there's some that speak mine, right?
But isn't a Hispanic someone of Mexican descent, but that was born?
So my understanding is someone who speaks Spanish. So it's
how about all the other Latin countries?
Even Spanish from Spain.
Latinos, everyone descent from.
But you see, already there's differences. You see what I'm not saying you're right or you're wrong, but there's differences already, isn't it? As soon as you start bringing up like that, even within certain cultures, you know, there's dark skinned and there's light skinned. But we'll get into that one. African, Anglo, Arabic, Hispanic, Jewish, Oriental, Polynesian, and a lot more. Right? There's hundreds, if not thousands of ethnicities in the world, and many more. How much money do you have? How many status symbols do you own? How much bullshit can you show off to your neighbors?
Oh, what I got!
Right? The fashion show in high school? My t-shirt costs more than your t-shirt. Okay, super rich. Rich? Middle class? Poor? Homeless? Are there hassles between socioeconomic groups? Pretty much. Pretty much. That's the thing you were talking about in Mexico. Isn't it different here? And this country is becoming more and more like Mexico. You know, you've got a great bunch at the top with just tons of money, and it's pulling away from the ones at the bottom. Politics, the good. You all know who that's Churchill. Right? He ran England during the Second World War. The bad, very bad, pretty bad. You know who he is? Premier of Russia. His name is Nikita Khrushchev. This is in the 50s and the 60s. And the alien. Ha!
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Fortunately, we don't have to worry about him. They won't show themselves. Religion. More wars have started about religion than any other except for one thing. What is that? Economics. And sometimes it's the same. You read some of the stories about the popes, the older ones, some of the stuff, the Crusades, and all that stuff. Okay, Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, Islam, Judaism, New Age. Is that all of the religions in the world? No, not even close, is it? There's zillions of them. Do they fight? Well, unfortunately. Can the God be the same for everybody? Right? Does he have to Allah or Yahweh or Buddha or whoever? You know, God? I don't know. I'm not going to sit there and preach that. Oh, skin color. What's the word in Spanish? Moreno. That's somebody who's dark, right? Are they looked down on?
Yes.
Are they? Should they be?
Because darker skinned people need to do what lighter skinned people say. That's just the rule of law.
Yeah.
That's just the way nature is.
It's a shame.
That's the way it is.
Okay. Your skin is about a 50th of an inch thick,
That's what the sun punches.
except on the bottom of your feet and the soles of your hands. It's a little thicker because there's callus there, right?
Oh.
Look at all the color. Look at this country. What's happening in this country? And we talk about human rights violations in other countries, and we're so pure. We've done the lynchings. all the stuff that we pulled in this country. We're no angels. When I used to teach 9th grade at Olivia High School, and I had a kid in my class, they called him Pauline. He was bad news. If you were a teacher, you wouldn't want him in class, but he was rough. But he said something one day that blew me away. He said, no matter what color you are on the outside, if you cut any one of us, we all bleed red. We're all the same on the inside. So where do we go from here? Okay, are any of you, I doubt it doesn't, looking around, old enough to remember October 1962?
No.
The Cuban Missile Crisis? We caught the Russians putting missiles into Cuba. You see the 13 days?
Yeah, we read about it.
Okay. It was scary. We came this close to having a full-scale nuclear war with the Soviet Union. This close. We didn't. We didn't like their way of doing business, and they didn't like ours. Capitalism, communism, and godless atheists and all the rest of it, this rhetoric they threw around. We could have well have destroyed all life on this planet. And it wasn't for him, and here he is again. He's the guy who put the missiles into Cuba. Khrushchev, he was the premier. Kennedy and he worked out a deal. They put a quarantine, they stopped the boats, they made them go home, they took the missiles out. We didn't have a nuclear war, so all of us aren't little piles of radioactive dust right now. We've still got all the weapons, they're still there. We've got a huge arsenal, Russia has a huge arsenal, everybody in the world wants to build it. Iran, everybody else. Go get it, nukes. That'll be the big kid on the block. That was Hiroshima. We've only, as far as we know in recorded history, nuclear weapons have only been used twice. Both of them on the Japanese. This was Hiroshima, and then 2 days later Nagasaki. That ended the Second World War. The bombs they have now, this thing's a firecracker. They use these atom bombs to trigger hydrogen bombs. And we've still got thousands of them. The last thing you want to have to do is some crazy terrorist get a hold, or some crazy anybody get their hands on it. But we're still here.
Well, the sad thing is that crazy people do have a whole
And they don't even have to be crazy, they just have to be lazy or incompetent or an accident or anything.
Okay. The name of our species is Homo sapiens. You know what that means? Homo is man, right?
Same.
Latin.
Same.
Sapiens, wise. Intelligent. It means wise man. I question the wisdom of a species that would invent the hydrogen bomb, but we're still here. So let's live up to our name and start acting wisely. It starts with you and me. I think we can get along. I am an idealist. I've had my kids write papers, my students, pardon me, kids. Do you think the human race will ever learn to live with itself? No. How come? No, all we'll ever do is fight and kill each other. Are you sure? Is there no way we can learn to live on this planet and share it and get along with each other? Well, you get a few that are idealistic. Yeah, I think we can. This is what this whole movement about, isn't it? Is applying technology in a good way to get people to live together and quit screwing each other over for money and power.
Yep.
You know? Does it make sense to do that?
Yes.
No, what you do is, yeah. But like you said, who runs this planet? Is America a democracy?
No.
No.
Well,
What is it?
It's an attempt.
It's what?
It's an attempt.
Okay, it's a try. It's lip service. Are we a corporate plutocracy?
Yes, we are.
Plutocracy ruled by the rich, right?
Oh,
The rich corporations and Wall Street and everything else run this thing?
yeah.
Yeah. So here we
So
are.
I guess.
So then there's lots of movements like you guys. There's movements all over the place. You want to see a really interesting video? Crude Impact
Yeah, I've seen it.
or Crude Awakening, either one. Or if you want to, Food Inc. Crude Impact is what we have done all over this planet. To all these cultures just to screw them over to get a fast shot of oil so we can run our big fancy Hummers and all the rest of it, you know. Now it's starting to take its toll and we're starting to have decent cars. But anyway, that's my presentation. Hopefully we'll live together, right? I'd much rather be friendly with people than hassle people. It's for real.
Thank you very much for that presentation.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Spud.
You're welcome.